Welcome to the Week 7 edition of the Weekly Supplement. Frankly, I can't believe that we are still on the air. This has been yet another week chock full of surprises. I'm Hawkeye the sports guy, and I'm not one to pick on any single team or player, but is it time to break up the hot tub woodies? A 4-game winning streak after some people were starting to talk about a bad season of epic proportions. The Woodies in 2 short weeks have gone from owning 15th place to being 1 point out of 6th place.
And I am a happy O'Day, and this story just continues to grow. The Woodies lost their first 4 games by an average of 12 runs per game. They won their next 4 by an average of 5 runs a game. This reporter wants to know how a team can have a 17-run per game swing.
It goes even deeper than that, Happy. Through their first 4 games, the Woodies batted a pedestrian .650. In their last 4 games they have hit .743. To put that in perspective, that is over 50 points better than any other team.
Hawkeye and I rarely agree on anything, but we are in complete agreement on this one. For the betterment of the league, it is time to break up the hot tub Woodies.
You are bang on, partner. I would recommend a disbursement draft. It won't matter what order you draft in because they are obviously all good.
Correct again. In fact, I heard that Ed and Tony aren't even going to pick an all-star team this year. They are just taking all the Woodies. For the love of God, whatever happened to competitive balance? Okay, let's look at this week's games. The dislocated joints and rusty rebels played a close game that ended 16-14 in favor of the joints. The Rebels bunched 11 of their runs in the 5th and 6th innings to make a close game of it. The Joints scored in every inning and had a balanced attack with 6 players having 4 or more hits. Leading the way was Dunce with Bucks 4 hits and 3 runs scored.
Monday's late game had the Lucky Stiffs topping the Red Dogs 14-8. Jens, the Big Kahuna, Stock, and Captain John all had 4 hits for the Stiffs, and Jens also scored 3 runs. The Red Dogs did a great job of shutting the Stiffs out through the first 2 innings, but when John and Clayton led off the 3rd with hits, it was game over.
Tuesday started with the hot tub Woodies laying waste to the torn ligaments. Despite the continued inspired play by Bob Venio and Dave McKendrick, the Woodies kept sipping from the fountain of youth and took this one 17-8. Art Saghert was 5 for 5 with 4 runs scored. Ed Hopkins was 4 for 4 with 3 runs scored. Personally, I would have protested when Hopkins scored from first base on an infield single. This needs to stop.
Ridiculous. The Grizzlies and the Beer Brothers met Tuesday in what was a close game for 4 innings before the Grizzlies pulled away for good in the 5th. The Grizzlies managed to overcome Paul Pilush's obligatory 3 runs scored, primarily due to perfect nights at the plate from Jimmy the Hunter. For those about to rock Bill Saluccio and Dave, the contradiction, argue. Not giving up extra bases was key against this aggressive base-running team. Make the final 22-8 for the Grizzlies.
The Dog Catchers and Banshees met in a similar game. The Dog Catchers battled back from a deep hole to tie the game at 13 after 6 innings. Then they went crazy. The open inning started with Tim Sullivan and Rick Highholt reaching base. After an out, Larry Turner and Rick Kudnick reached, which was followed by another out. So with 2 out and the game still very much in doubt, the next 7 consecutive dog catches reached base as they had a 10-run open innings. The final score of 23-13 doesn't reflect how tight a game it was for the first 6 innings.
The last Tuesday game was the Blue Jays hosting the Rusty Rebels. The Blue Jays followed the same model that the Joints did by scoring in every inning. Captain Bo and Bob Pierce had huge days as both went 5 for 5 and combined for 7 of the Blue Jays' 19 runs. The Rebels had solid contributions from Wayne Bickford, Hugh Armstrong and Cliff Joseph, who combined to go 11 for 11. Final score, Blue Jays 19, Rusty Rebels 10.
Moving to Wednesday, the Beer Brothers were looking for redemption against the Lucky Stiffs. It didn't come. Perfect nights from Steve Ross and Sandy Bell were not enough to overcome Paul Pilush scoring only 2 runs on this night. Oh, please, I'm just kidding. It is an odd line score because 6 of the Beer Brothers were 3 for 4 or better, but it never really resulted in any big innings. For the Stiffs, Shea Sun, Brad Smith, and Jamie Allen combined for a 13 for 13 night with 9 runs scored. That was almost half of the team's offense as the Stiffs won 20-12.
The dislocated joints were looking for their second win of the week as they faced the Red Dogs, who were hoping to split the week. Bob Candy and Will Gooden Hunting led the way with 4 for 4 nights, but even having Cal Russell as a sub wasn't enough on this night. When the Pendleberries combine for 9 hits and 6 runs, you're just asking for trouble. The Joints joined the Woodies with a 2-win weekend by winning this game 15-11.
The nightcap on Wednesday had the hurting Units playing the Dusty Cleats. You have to hand it to the Units, and particularly to James and Mike. The Units had been kicked around a little recently, but they didn't let the boys take it to heart. They scored 7 in the first, another 7 in the second, and their 15th and 16th runs in the third. I would guess that you win 99 out of 100 games when you start like that. This was clearly the 100th game. The Cleats hit a solo home run in the 7th inning to win 20-19.
The first of 2 games on Thursday had the Banshees at the Wild. The Banshees were trying to split the week, and they did so on the strength of a balanced team performance. The only perfect night was Simon Smith's 4 for 4. Simon, Randy Rose and Harley Sherman all scored 2 runs, but everyone contributed up and down the lineup. Will Froblin and Dave McGovern were both 4 for 4 for the Wild, who did play well in losing 13-11.
The last game of the week was a real barn burner between the Dodge City Rounders and the rejuvenated Hot Tub Woodies. The Woodies held a 9-0 lead after 2 innings and looked to be in cruise control before the Rounders caught fire. After 6 innings, Dodge was trailing by only 2 at 15-13. Dodge City had a great 7th inning, scoring 5 runs to take an 18-15 lead. The only problem was that the Woodies would score 4 of their own in the bottom of the inning to win 19-18. What a great game to end the week with.
Excellent work, partner. Please tune in for next week's review. Have a great day.
Right. And remember, please don't forget to tip your scorekeeper.